Tops with Ain't No Woman Like the One I Got. Boy, that's such a great one. I forget where I heard. I think I heard that on my auto mix or something came through. I'm like, ooh, that's a good. I forgot about that song. Good morning, Vaqueros. DJ Doc V here with you. You're listening to Office Hours. It's Friday, November 1st, 3 minutes after the hour. We'll be with you here until 11 a.m. local time. It's, let's see, it's a little cloudy today, and we're expecting, well, 100% chance of rain, so I guess that means we're going to have rain today. We're expecting a high of 87 with rain, but right now it's 81 in the upper Rio Grande Valley. We can see some of the precipitation coming up from the south. It should be hitting our region sometime today. It's already looking like it's fixing to rain out there, so we'll see what happens. But it looks like, let's see what the rest of the weekend looks like here for us in the beautiful Rio Grande Valley. We're looking at 87 high for today with rain. We've got 91 degrees tomorrow with partly sunny skies. Another 25% chance of rain or so. 93 degrees on Sunday and 95 on Monday. And then according to the forecast anyway, almost 20-degree drop on Tuesday. With 79 as a high on Tuesday and another 70% chance of rain and thunderstorms, it looks like, for Tuesday. So we'll see how that goes. It'd be nice if the temperature dropped down to 79, that's for sure. But we'll see what happens going there. Our athletic teams looks like they're on the road this week. Today, the women's soccer team at Texas A&M Corpus Christi, our regional rival. And then women's volleyball is at Lamar tomorrow at 11. Men's soccer on November 3rd. That would be Sunday at San Jose State. And men's basketball in Nebraska on Monday the 4th. As a reminder, today is the last day for early voting. If you are registered to vote anywhere in Hidalgo County, you can vote here on campus in the ESTAC building, also affectionately known as the Stack. You'll see there's plenty of campaign signs that are, well, closer to University Avenue here because Texas law says they have to be at least 100 feet from the polling place, so they can't be any closer. But there's people out there holding up signs and encouraging people to vote for their favorite candidate or whatever, so you'll see plenty of that. It is the last day of early voting, so if you don't vote today, you'll have to wait until Tuesday. And polls are open from 7 to 7 on Tuesday on Election Day. So big election coming up. We're electing a president. We're electing a U.S. Senator from Texas. We're electing all the members of the House of Representatives, several state legislative seats, although the state Senate seat and the state House seat here in this district are running unopposed. So not much... you don't really have to forecast who's going to win those. So, as we do every week on Office Hours, we've got This Day in History coming up at the bottom of the hour. And a poem, once again, from the 2024. This has really been a wellspring of solid poetry, the Gallery Edition 2024. And I've got a poem picked out here titled Number One. So that looks like it'll be exciting. That'll be about 50 minutes after the hour. But along with the four tops, let's do a little bit of oldies here. Just the first set, we'll do some oldies. That Ain't No Woman was on a compilation disc talking about the greatest hits of all time in the 1970s. And here's another one from the 70s, a little Barry White. Bill Withers, Lovely Day. Vaquero Radio, the Valley's student station. Good morning, this is DJ Doc V. Be with you here till 11 a.m. It's Friday, November 1st, 21 minutes after the hour. That was Bill Withers with Lovely Day. Before that, we heard Blood, Sweat, and Tears, You Make Me So Very Happy. And we started off that set with little Barry White, Never, Never Gonna Give You Up. I guess we can call those first four songs in our show today the uni set. So a little dedication going out there too. You got to work late tonight. That's a bummer, man. It's a Friday. That's a bummer. Anyway, DJ Doc V with you here until 11 a.m. Thanks for tuning in. Remember, we got some great programming all week. original programming every day of the week here at Vaquero Radio. Also, make sure that you're following us on social media. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram, not Twitter. Should we call it not Twitter? I don't know, man. X, whatever that. I don't know what that means. It doesn't mean anything. It's just bad branding. Bad. I'm not even a marketing expert. um, so I got some other great music coming up here for a little bit. In fact, we're going to play a really long Billy Joel song. If you're familiar with his work at all, there's at least a couple of songs where he complains. Remember, he was in the 70s and the 80s when he was really kind of big. But there's a couple of songs where he complains about having to cut parts out of his work because it wasn't commercial enough. It was too long. His songs are too long. And he complains about that in a couple of songs. So we're going to play a 10-minute Billy Joel song after we do This Day in History, which is coming up in just a few minutes. So, but before then, how about a little Soul Asylum? This one's called Runaway Train, only on Vaquero Radio from the White Album, which was also known as just The Beatles, right? The White Album. While My Guitar Gently Weeps. Great, man. I remember first hearing the White Album. Just haven't really blew my mind. I always thought of the Beatles as the, I wanna hold your hand, that kind of poppy stuff. The White Album sure is a departure. First heard it on Reel to Reel. There's a tape. There's a format you don't hear too much about these days. Reel to Reel. Before that, you heard Soul Asylum with Runaway Train. As we do every week here on Office Hours, we're going to talk about this day in history. It is November 1st. It's 10:32 a.m. And on this day in 1512, the Sistine Chapel opens to the public. The ceiling of the Sistine Chapel in Rome, one of Italian artist Michelangelo's finest works, is exhibited to the public for the first time on November 1st, 1512. Michelangelo Buonarroti, the greatest of the Italian Renaissance artists, was born in the small village of Caprese in 1475. The son of a government administrator, he grew up in Florence, a center of the early Renaissance movement, and became an artist's apprentice at age 13. Demonstrating obvious talent, he was taken under the wing of Lorenzo de' Medici, the ruler of the Florentine Republic and a great patron of the arts. After demonstrating his mastery of sculpture in such works as the Pietà, 1498, and the Statue of David, in 1504, he was called to Rome in 1508 to paint the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel, the chief consecrated space in the Vatican. Michelangelo's epic ceiling frescoes, which took several years to complete, are among his most memorable works. Central in a complex system of decoration featuring numerous figures are 9 panels devoted to a biblical world history. The most famous of these is the creation of Adam, a painting in which the arms of God and Adam are stretching toward each other. In 1512, Michelangelo completed the work. After 15 years as an architect in Florence, Michelangelo returned to Rome in 1534, where he would work and live for the rest of his life. That year saw his painting of The Last Judgment on the wall above the altar in the Sistine Chapel for Pope Paul III. The massive painting depicts Christ's damnation of sinners and blessing of the virtuous and is regarded as a masterpiece of early mannerism. I was actually there in the Sistine Chapel. I got to see the ceiling a couple years ago. I visited, I was in Europe to see my daughter graduate from the IE higher education. She got a master's there. She was a Fulbrighter. And she and I took a trip, a little father-daughter trip afterwards to Rome. And we took a day trip down to Pompeii to see the ruins there. And the Sistine Chapel was just incredible. Really just otherworldly, it's fair to say. Just incredible. And really the whole Vatican the Vatican Museum was really fantastic. Lots of excellent artifacts and such. So that was on this day in 1512 where it was first done. Let's see what else. In 1945, on November 1st, the first issue of Ebony magazine is published. That's an African-American magazine, largely. In 1935, Palestinian-American public intellectual Edward Said is born. In 1959, Montreal's Jacques Plante becomes the first NHL goaltender to wear a face mask, something that you wouldn't anticipate too many goalies not wearing these days, right? Also, sports history: 1946, the first NBA game is played here in the United States. In 1993, on November 1st, the European Union is officially established. On this day in 1950, there was an assassination attempt which threatened President Harry Truman. In 1800, John Adams moves into the newly constructed White House, which will become the president's residence as well as their working spaces, and still used that way today. And finally, in 1952, the United States tests the first hydrogen bomb, which was, of course, an evolution from the atomic bomb that was atomic bombs that were dropped that ended World War II. Hydrogen bomb, much more devastating, packs a lot more of a punch than the atomic bomb did. That's this day in history, as we do every week in office hours, talking about what's going on on this day in history. The weather right now, 82 degrees as of 10:26 here in the upper Rio Grande Valley. It is actually 10:37. We're expecting a high of 87 today, 86, with a very high chance of rain. It's already kind of cloudy, although the sun's trying to peek through there. 91 degrees tomorrow on Saturday, with mostly cloudy skies, and then Sunday windy, 93 degrees as a high, and Monday 95 degrees and windy. So that's the weather coming up there. Remember, our voting coming up. Election day is Tuesday, the first Monday after the first Tuesday in November, an even number year. We're voting for president, U.S. senator. We're voting for all the members of the House of Representatives. Also, if you live in Edinburgh, there are several ballot measures that you'll be voting on. And a lot of them are, should we change the city charter to make it compliant with state law? And you go, yeah, it isn't already, right? So remember that there's more. You're voting for more than just president and vice president. There's lots of other offices down the ballot from those two at the top. But Tuesday night is election day, or Tuesday is election day. Early voting ends today here on campus at the Stack Building. You'll be, it's right there in it's actually the southwesternmost corner of our campus here on University and Sugar. So make sure that you're out there. If you haven't voted already, get out there today. It's a lot easier to vote early than it is to wait in line on election day. So let's get back to the music here. How about some Cranberries? This sounds good. It's a song called Linger, only on Vaquero Radio, the Valley's student station. Okay, so it wasn't 10 minutes. I was wrong. It was only 7.5 minutes. But that's Billy Joel with Scenes from an Italian Restaurant. Classic. You could almost identify different movements of that story, of that song, just to talk about how different the sections of the entire composition are. That would be really interesting. Before that, it was the Cranberries with Linger. Another tragic loss, Dolores O'Riordan losing her so young. It's unfortunate, really unfortunate. Good morning, Vaqueros. DJ Doc V with you here for just about another few minutes. But as we do every week here on Office Hours, I've got a poem picked out for you. This one from the 2024 edition of Gallery Magazine, another excellent, excellent production of UTRGV Student Media. This is a poem titled Number One by Miguel Hernandez. They told me to write a poem about love, but the truth is I'm unsure of what to write. I could write some silly love words and say that love lives in you or it lives in me. Then again, I'm not sure if that is true, because I don't like myself at times. I do like you. That does not mean you make me feel good, though. I could say that love is how much I long to be with you, but love may be the fact that there's really no change when you're around. Love may be the fact that even with you, my sadness walks beside me, and it won't seem to leave my heart. Perhaps this is because I love you much more, and I can tell, so maybe love is that unrequitedness. Is that selfish? That whatever you may give me, I don't find it to be enough? Maybe love is that selfishness. Maybe I'm wrong in all these answers, because in reality, I'm not sure if I've received it, love, and I'm not sure if I've given it, really. I heard people say things like, quote, love is a drug, end quote. And that could be it. We all seem to long for it with great passion. I know I look for you and others. And yet it makes us feel bad. It brings us pain. Love is the antithesis of itself, a soft, harmless tiger, a cluster full of pain, or maybe a brief moment of happiness. Love is the rose and its thorns. That's a poem titled Number One by Miguel Hernandez from the Gallery Magazine edition 2024. Make sure you pick that up as you're on campus. You can find it on various little stands there. Pick it up, a free copy of that. Make sure you pick up Pulse Magazine as well while you're at it, and a copy of the UTRGV, The Rider, which is our weekly newspaper. And make sure on Mondays you tune in and watch KVAQ TV doing their weekly newscast. These are all excellent programs of UTRGV student media. It is 10:54 here in the Edinburgh studio, and it is 82 degrees with, it looks like the sun's trying to poke out, but like I said, we're expecting, yes, a high of 85, but we're also expecting rain today. So make sure that you are prepared. Bring your umbrella, keep it in the car, so that you won't get caught out in the rain unprepared. So thanks so much for tuning in. We'll be here again next week with more office hours. And for now, we're going to leave you with a song by the band Boston. This one's called Peace of Mind, only on Vaquero Radio, the Valley's student station.